Football with friends is fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap here with Cody Carpentier on a big Friday, a Final Takes Friday, a live Friday here on the channel. So pumped to be here with you. We have a Final Takes show, man. I'm pumped, Cody, because I just got back from Texas Beef Traders, and we're going to talk about them here in a minute. But we're going to have another live show on Friday at Texas Beef Traders next week, and I'm excited to tell you everything they have going on. Not just because they're a great sponsor, but because dude, they're doing some stuff that's insanely fun and delicious up there. But before we talk about Texas Beef Traders, we have to thank our presenting sponsor, of course, the Man Eye Institute. We love Texas Beef Traders. We love Poncho Outdoors. We love the Alpha Seasoning. But the fact of the matter is, if the Man Eye Institute didn't sponsor this show, the show wouldn't exist at this point. It is what it is. So if you like the show, just make sure that if you have vision needs, if there's anything that you need to get done with LASIK, if there's anything you need to get done with cataracts, just anything with your vision, man. If your vision's a little bit whacked out, man, you're very lucky to live in Texas where you can find a Man Eye Institute near you. So give them a call, 1-844-WOW-2020, 844-WOW-2020. See life better at the Man Eye Institute, our great presenting sponsor, the Man Eye Institute. All right, Cody. It's a live show. I see people starting to pile into the chat. A few of them, or I see two people piling into the chat during the live portion so far. They could be a little bit freaked out that we are going live here. But if you guys have questions for Final Takes, if you guys have takes that you want us to give our takes, like take our takes on your takes, put them in the
takes
chat.
On takes, some would say.
Yeah, our buddy Kyle Krabs and Joe Marino on their Locked On NFL Draft show on Fridays. Their show is takes on takes. So they have people send in takes and then they give their takes on the takes. And so we'll do something similar here. If you have something you'd like to talk about, make sure and put it in the chat. We have a K Horn saying 28-13 Georgia. We have Esron saying Georgia 27, Texas 10. Okay, so Cody, it's like what we're getting here is kind of
a lot of Georgia.
It's kind of like on the message boards today. Like, all right, so first Final Takes, like your score prediction, my score prediction. Mine is that my prediction was I predicted Texas to win. And I chose 26-23 because I know good and dang well that if this is an overtime game, which I think it has a chance to be, and I'll put the caveat there that is if the Texas offense operates in the same way that we saw them operate versus Vanderbilt, right? Or in a similar way. And I don't think that's. You might say, like, well, how can you compare Vanderbilt to Georgia? It's like, well, do you want me to break out the cockamamie statistics and like about the pressure rates and stuff like that? And like, you can those are teams that you could compare, right? We're talking about teams that were ranked 3 spots apart last week in the rankings. Was it 3-4 spots apart?
Right now they're 5 spots apart.
Okay, so we're not talking about a big difference here, and I know very well that if this thing goes to overtime, because here's the thing: Georgia plays these games close, Texas has played these games close. You know that Peyton Woodring's not going to miss a field goal in overtime, and so that's why my original idea of 21-24, where Texas would win in overtime, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So I kind of I went and reverse engineered it, and I said, okay, all right. So if they get in there, Texas holds them. Woodring's not going to miss, right? So they go 23. Texas comes back. They score the touchdown to win, 26-23. Look, man, I think that Texas on defense has better difference makers. They just do. I think that Texas is not a team that in the secondary deserves very much of this hate that they've gotten from the fan base and from the national media for being like 94th in pass defense or whatever. They're not that bad. They've done things to put themselves at a disadvantage and tie a hand behind their back whenever you get Kobe Black and Wardell Mack and Warren Roberson. I guess Roberson's actually been kind of good, but Phil Simi and some of these guys in there, third series of the football game, and that's where the coverage burn occurs, right? If you don't do that kind of stuff with the personnel and you just go out there and play your dudes, this is a play your dudes kind of game. I think the defense holds up. And if the defense holds up, and if this Georgia defense versus the Texas offense that looks to me like it's starting to find its stride, I think that these guys go toe to toe, man. And when I look at the two defenses, I think that the defense and the physicality and the dynamism in a spot like this is what's going to be the difference in the game. And I think Texas has the better defense overall. I just do. Now, what can make me look foolish in my prediction is if the offense regresses and they play like they did against Mississippi State or, God forbid, Florida. At that point, people would be like, what are you doing? Like, how could you this is your job. How could you have ever picked Texas to win against Kirby Smart whenever they haven't done it yet? And they're going into their house at night, and only two teams have done it in the last, 7 years.
Yep.
Which I understand, right? But my rational brain says it's like, well, I cover Texas very close. I see an opening here. I see a window here for something to happen. And I think they can do it. And the other thing is, it's like this is a team where it's like Coach Sark talks so much about the culture and what's built into the culture and their shared experience together. And so much of that, not just for the last 2 years, but kind of the last 3 years, has been something where you stumble early on, and then in November your back's against the wall, and you got to do this slalom ski of a run. And they've been able to navigate that thing in November, right? And Georgia plays squeakers, dude. There's only been 2 SEC games they played that haven't been total squeakers. So that's where I'm at. Could I be wrong? Yes, I could be really, really wrong. Is it kind of going out on a limb? I think it's a little bit going out on a limb, and it's giving a little bit of grace to Texas. But that's it, man. That's my pick. Texas wins in overtime, in one overtime, 26-23.
Yeah. So very, very similar rollout as the SEC championship was last year, but in the inverse result. Obviously, Georgia won, but that was on an overtime touchdown from Etienne, who's not there. The difference is this one, as you brought up, the fact that Texas just hasn't been able to beat Kirby last year. And this is the first time that Texas will play in Athens. And when I did my prediction, I've come in with this thought of like a week ago. I was like, I'm going to pick Texas, and I've stuck with that. And my scoring started out a little bit higher. I was at like a 31-30. I came down a little bit in the overall scoring, but I went back to kind of help myself get to a score. And I went back and I looked at all the home games in the history of Kirby Smart at Georgia. They've lost 5 games ever at Sanford Stadium under Kirby Smart. 2 since 2017. The 2 since 2017, Alabama earlier this year. Alabama was ranked 17th in the country. They lost 24-21. South Carolina was unranked in 2019, 20-17. Georgia Tech in 2016, 28-27. Vanderbilt in 2016, 17-16. And Tennessee was ranked 11th in 2016, 34-31. The difference in all those, a 3-point loss, a 3-point loss, a 1-point loss, a 1-point loss, a 3-point loss.
Yeah.
That's it. So everything's tight, razor tight, as you predicted, right? You're saying 26-23. We expect this to be a razor tight game. 33-2 since 2017. Amongst those 33 wins, or 34 since 2016, 8 games have come against top 10 opponents. They're 8-0 against top 10 opponents. Alex, I want to ask you a thought here. I'm going to list off 8 quarterbacks, and I want you to tell me if you would take them or Arch Manning. All right?
Arch
Manning of the last 4 weeks. Okay?
So what games are the last 4 weeks?
The last 4 weeks. So
Kentucky,
Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Kentucky, and
Florida.
Was the
OU.
OU.
Oh, is that it? Is it OU last?
OU.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They're on a win streak. All right. Trinidad Chambliss.
As a player this season, or as a player like I mean,
Trinidad Chambliss versus
I'm
Arch
not.
Manning in the
I don't
last
want to
4
go.
weeks.
I don't want to go on something where I can be clipped and as said that I prefer Trinidad Chambliss to Arch Manning as a quarterback prospect.
Okay, well, so you're being a coward. That's fine. They beat Ole Miss by 8 with Trinidad Chambliss. Nico Iamaleava from Tennessee.
Arch.
Jackson Dart from Ole Miss.
Well, are we talking about NFL
No,
now?
we're talking about college. In that system, they got beat
Do
by
you remember Dart at the Senior Bowl?
Yes. Dart right now in New York is the best Dart we've ever seen.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, can you believe that he's the runaway favorite for
Yes, I can.
Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Yes. So they lost by 35 with Dart. Hendon Hooker at Tennessee.
Oh, Arch.
KJ Jefferson at Arkansas.
Arch.
Bo Nix at Auburn.
Arch.
Ian Book at Notre Dame.
Oh God, Arch.
Sean White at Auburn.
Arch.
Exactly. So here's the deal. Arch, arguably, those are all the quarterbacks that they've played on top 10 teams. Again, that's Auburn, Arkansas, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Notre Dame. Those are who they've played as top 10 opponents at home. I think we can say Tennessee, Ole Miss, Auburn, from a roster construction standpoint, those teams, though that Auburn team in 2017 or 2016 was like a top 5 ranked team, top 2, I think it was. They ended up like 10-2. As a roster, I think this Texas team is as talented or more talented than any of those teams they played as top 10 opponents. And Arch is better than all of those quarterbacks that they played as top 10 opponents. It's a different team. Sark is 12-1 in November the last 3 years. 5 ranked wins. 27-22 Texas. The biggest margin of loss in Kirby Smart's history at Sanford Stadium.
Is that true?
27-22 would be a 5-point loss.
My gosh. What a big win you could score for yourself by ordering the Alpha seasoning. I have some right here. Look at that. Look at that bottle. Look at this. Look at everything that's gone into this. Look at the beautiful color of this seasoning. You can go to alphaseasoning.com and order some. Thanks to everybody who's been ordering them this week. We're actually close to being sold out. I mean, I do fulfillment here out of the studio, but I think we only have a few bottles. We have a new shipment on order though, so if you order now, you can get some, and if you order now, like we're gonna have some within the next like week anyway, so it'll get to you soon. Alphaseasoning.com. It's great on steaks, burger, deer, dove, chicken wings, chicken thighs, quail, fish fillets, fajitas, ribs, hog cutlets, shrimp, turkey. Eggs, salads, whatever it is, man. And what I like most about it is how many people buy it once and then come back and buy it again. It's been on the market now since July. And so people have gotten through their first bottle and they're coming back and buying multiple bottles, and we're adding new products, but you can get it at alphaseasoning.com. It's a great way to support Cody and I. We're just trying to do what we can to get by, and we're trying to give you guys the best products that we can to use on your food and your delicious food, like from Texas Beef Traders. And Cody, I wanted to show this picture I took earlier from when I was at Texas Beef Traders. Check this out. We're going to be there next week. And when we are, how do I move that to the top? They have this new fire pit outside. That's right. It's just like right there in the parking lot, right? Or right there in the little courtyard that looks into the parking lot. And, what they're doing now is they're just doing a walk-up steakhouse on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays out there in the courtyard. And you go in, pick a steak. They'll cook it up for you on whatever that – I forget what those grills are called. Those grills you can kind of move up and down and stuff over the live oak wood smoke. And, we're going to be out there live next week. So just come in. If you're there with us, you're there to watch the show, Darren and Thomas will cook up some steak for us and, let you try some of the stuff. They'll put the Alpha seasoning on it. They sell Alpha there as well as at Hudson's Meat Market, at Congress, South Congress, and in Marble Falls. But here's the other thing that they're doing now, which is so cool. 2 other things. So not only are they doing that, whenever you're choosing a steak, look at this. It used to be this. area was kind of like the ground beef and some of the accoutrements and stuff. All this now is this new Wagyu stuff that they're getting in from San Angelo. And you could talk to Cody about this, but whenever we first tried it, it's kind of roll your eyes back in your head type of good as far as this steak. They're not only doing that, but they're also now doing right there from MTX beef from Mason. They're starting to dry age some of these. They're dry aging the ribeyes now for 28 days, the New York strips for 21 days, and all this meat that you see here in these coolers that are right there at the front was all brought in on Wednesday. And whatever they don't sell, they'll just put in the freezers in the back, and they will sell it to people that want to come in and have a specific cut that they're not that they don't have fresh. But when you go in there, you're getting meat that was processed like a week ago. Texas Beef Traders, TexasBeefTraders.com. Come see us next week for the Friday show, the live Final Takes Friday show here on the channel. Come eat some food. We'll have free beer for you. It'll be a big day. Cody, I think, aren't Ketch and Chad having a show somewhere too? Maybe at Hayes City Store, or am I wrong?
I think their show is at, I think it's Hayes City Store.
Or it might be at
it's at the Tito's right here. It's at
it's at the Deep Eddy.
Deep Eddy's. There you go.
Yeah, it's the Deep Eddy. Yeah, it's definitely Deep Eddy. So yeah, make sure and check all that stuff out. But come see us 6 p.m. Loman's Crossing and 620 right there in the heart of Lakeway. And if you're going to come, like, let us know, or call up to the shop and let them know, just so they know how much extra meat to put aside. But they will be using the Alpha Seasoning at alphaseasoning.com.
Two things before we get off of that is, one, that grill's called it's the Argentine Santa Maria.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. My wife's boss has one, and bro. Number two, with the Alpha Seasoning, I've had 3 people reach out to me, and you can tell, Alex, because you fulfilled the orders. I've had 3 people reach out to me and tell me that they've ordered the Alpha not only for themselves, but for their coworkers and for stocking stuffers already.
Yeah, man.
You can probably tell by the orders of like 11 and 12.
It's unbelievably good, and there's no and it's good without MSG or seed oils. Alphaseasoning.com. Go check it out. All right. I think so. What are people in the chat saying here? We have Sandman saying that there's no way, yada yada yada. He's saying that Texas can't win.
I saved a couple chats in here that I think I pinned a couple. First off, Mark Anthony talking about beef. He said he's putting a 17-pound brisket, but to go on the non-pellet smoker, going to be ready about kickoff time. On
the non-pellets, what does that mean? The non?
I'd like to hear
old offset smoker.
What the situation is with that one.
Has the pellet grill become so so ubiquitous, or what does ubiquitous mean? Has it become so ubiquitous that you have to distinguish that you're not using the pellets in your smoker?
Probably. I think it's a level of like, if you're just like, oh, I'm gonna go smoke my meat, I think generally people will think pellet, and
they're gonna think an offset smoker.
It's become such like a modern thing that like people are like, pit boss, I smoke my meat, and it's like, that's not the traditional way, right? The traditional way is the offset, old school way, but pellet is like the new thing for everyday folk. So I think Mark Anthony's letting us know that he's not an everyday folk. He's a real old school smoker. I think that's what that is.
Sandman says ubiquitous means present everywhere. Dude, whenever I use big words that I don't know what they mean, I'm usually right. And I get it from being such a bookworm and reading so many books. I'll just skim over a word and I won't know what it means as I'm reading, but I think it's just by osmosis. Okay.
Couple other chats if you want to answer them. We asked for a couple takes. Orange Blood 1 gave us one hot take for y'all. This will be the first game of the season with a healthy D and O line setup that gives Texas the best protection. Plus, Arch is hitting his stride. Texas can win this by 17 or more.
Oh, they're not going to win by 17 plus. No shot.
That would be
That would be a shock the world type of. If they won by 17 plus, they would be leading Sports Center and just like everything. It would be people would be it would that I mean my jaw would be on the floor. I think most people would.
They beat Bama by 10. Would a 17-point win, 17 exactly. We'll move on. Would 17-point win, that would mean Arch would go ballistic probably. Would that vault him in the top 5 of the Heisman conversation? 350 and 4.
I haven't looked at the who's the top right now. Is it Sayin? And then is Jeremiah Love probably?
No, it's Sayin and Fernando Mendoza.
Right.
Yeah, Arch isn't even in the top 10 right now.
No one's talking about Chambliss.
Chambliss is like 8th. Ahead of Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, ahead of Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah.
Who am I? I mean, I'm sure it's
Mendoza, Simpson, Sayin, Reed,
Ty Simpson, of course.
Pavia, Stockton, Love, King, Chambliss, Jeremiah Smith. Would that put him in the top 5, top 6? Stockton right now is at 6. You go to Stockton's house, you put 350 and 4 and beat him by 17.
Because then you're talking about two loss SEC teams and one quarterback went in and smoked. QB wins is QB wins, but if you look underneath the hood as far as Arch's stats, they're not as bad as what people,
no.
You know what I mean, is what you would think based on just the totally, the way that you wanted to puke on your shoes earlier in the season with how you thought his play looked. It hasn't been as bad.
And to call a spade, the top 3 odds right now in Heisman are the top 3 teams in America: Mendoza, Simpson, Sayin, 1, 2, 3. And the next 3 are, if they beat Georgia tomorrow, it's Stockton's at 6. They beat Pavia last week, and they have Marcel Reed in 2 weeks. That's 4.
If Omar doesn't make that catch, are we even talking about Mendoza like this?
Man, but he did.
How?
I don't know.
I haven't even talked to you about that. You were traveling.
I mean, that was like,
that's like the stuff where you just look at it, and whenever we get down to, is he coming out this year?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So that's like, the first thing that came to my mind was like, I've watched Stephon Diggs do that for the last decade. Antonio Brown, Tony Toe Tap, of course. I mean, going up to the Steelers training camp and getting to stand like on the sideline while they do indie drills. And George Pickens, I think George Pickens has some of the best, most inconsistent hands, but like in those drills, he can levitate sideways and the toes somehow drag. Like there, some of this, and Cooper, and that was.
Hey, dude, speaking of Pickens, I know this is like, and speaking of Georgia and all this, like, what about Adonai Mitchell last night? Do you have any final takes on this?
Yeah.
What happened?
He doesn't look like the Adonai Mitchell that we know.
His hands were terrible last night.
A couple of those balls were bad though.
You can blame it. Well, you can't blame all that on Fields. He put some in the absolute bucket. It was the most perfect like example of Adonai Mitchell at the NFL level that I've seen. The fact that he can go.
That one that back shoulder.
He can go out there and cook Christian Gonzalez, and the back shoulder throw, and like he
makes that catch every time.
He put like that in college was the Adonai Mitchell catch. In the pros, it hasn't been, and he keeps doing this bonehead stuff. And I like last night he had the opportunity to go out there and have a complete coming out party on a national stage. He had every opportunity in the world. I know that Fields stinks, but not every single pass was bad. So many of them just bounced right off of his hands.
I blame Anthony Richardson.
He probably had 100 unrealized air yards.
I believe that. I blame Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson screwed him up, just messed up his timing for the rest of his. Just practicing with Ant Richardson, it was so bad.
Yep.
Nah, maybe. Hope he wasn't hanging out with him after practice and stuff. I hear that guy.
I think he just needs to. Hopefully he's not in New York next, or hopefully maybe they get a different quarterback that's like, maybe they get him in
New York next. Well, wait, he'll have one more year left on his deal after this year, and his rookie deal transferred over whenever they made the Sauce Gardner trade.
Maybe he'll get Mendoza next year.
Will that even? Do we think Mendoza's good?
No, I think Mendoza is just like the definition. Like I think the Mendoza is like a notch better than Tyler Shook.
I think that Mendoza's name is perfect because he's right there on the Mendoza line as far as
Yeah.
as far as acceptability.
Yeah. I think he's just like a notch better than Shook.
Yeah. We'll see, man. I mean, it could. I got to do more research. I got to scout him. I haven't
Goff
scouted
was in
him.
that
I'm
same
just, I'm just,
ballpark though. When Goff got
I'm just watching
elevated.
on TV. I've not even watched. I've not even watched any coaches film on Indiana, so it's hard to really say. But my initial inkling is that I'm not sure. I just this Heisman stuff for him is pretty wild. Do you have a defensive MVP for this game?
Well, I mean, it has to be Michael Taft. I mean, we just need Michael Taft to show
It
up.
has to be Michael Taft.
It has to be Michael Taft because I'm not sure that you can I'm not sure you can play the chalk card and say, well, you have to pick the hottest player in the sport right now, Colin Simmons, because of the way Georgia's offense runs. I think that they're too smart. They're not going to play like Vanderbilt did, just be like, whatever. Like we're just going to do what we're going to do, and we're going to try and run the opposite direction, or we're going to try and read off of him. Like I think that Georgia's too smart. They're going to try and get the ball out quick. They're going to try and release the ball early, run the ball. Yeah, they're going to try and take Colin Simmons out of the game, and I think that's going to cause, like we talked about yesterday, tackling. And I think that just the leadership of a Michael Taft at the back end, being back there vocally and playmaking wise, I think that that's going to be just massive.
Okay. Looks like we have William Winkley saying our sound is cutting out. Have you noticed that at all, Cody?
I have not noticed.
I have not noticed it from your end. People in the chat, let us know if our sound is cutting out or whether William Winkley has a messed up speaker on his computer. Okay.
Do you know my MVP? Simmons?
Yeah. Dude, I mean, it's like this is as the season's gone on, he's like, to me, it's like I watch so much college football, and like of course I don't follow any other team as closely as I follow Texas, man. But I've watched these games. I spend a lot of time watching these games, man. He looks as good as he looks amazing. I think that this is where he kind of. I think that this is where, dude. If Texas is going to make the playoffs and make any kind of run, I think this is where this is Colin Simmons' runway, right? This is the time wherever he's just greasing the skids, getting ready through November during this time that we anticipate could be, if history holds, the time where Texas has to do the kind of the slalom through November that they've put themselves behind the 8 ball to need to require. And you need awesome players to step up and make really, really big plays in these kinds of games. And I think Simmons looks awesome. I think, it's another chalk thing to say, but I think Ant Hill probably, you're gonna need to not let Gunnar Stockton squirt out and do any kind of creepy running on you. I think that Ant Hill's key for that. And then I think also just here's one thing. I think it would be just a real MVP move for Grayson Littleton not to miss any tackles. I really think there's going to be some of this stuff where not only from the Georgia side, but from the Texas side, where they're going to be throwing the balls out to the perimeter. And for them, it'll be Branch. For Texas, it'll be Wingo. And just let them be the running back, but let them be the running back out on the hash marks, right? And when that's the case, if the corner's clouded, they're gonna have leverage to the outside. They're gonna funnel him inside, right? And when they do, Littleton can't miss the tackle. He just can't. He's had a little bit of trouble whenever those wide receivers have been funneled inside on those screens against the clouded corners. And so that would be I'm not saying he'll be the MVP, but that would be a real MVP move for him to not miss
the game.
Yeah, for him. Yeah, but all these guys, man, I think like all this, the secondary, and you feel good about Taft as far as that stuff's concerned, right? I feel good about McDonald as far as that stuff's concerned. But you have to make those open field tackles on these screens. And sometimes you're gonna have to do them by yourself, but I would really love it to see a lot of gang tackling on those types of concepts. And speaking of those types of concepts, Cody, Do you think they're expecting from Sark in his script from the very beginning to throw one of those to Wingo?
No, I was just going to go there, and I was going to say on the offensive side, do you think with the last 2 games opening up with that, and then having a bye, I think Mac Brown, I was listening to the Stampede. I haven't listened to it in a while, but I listened to it this week, and he said it's the perfect time for a bye week tendency breaker. And that tendency breaker would be to fake the screen and then have Parker on the banana over the top.
Is that the mid IQ thing? Because that's the first thing that I thought too.
So that means Kirby's thinking of it.
That means Kirby's thinking of it. I just think you're like, well, you think I'm going to do this, you think I'm going to do this, but really I'm just going to do that, right?
So he's just going to do the screen again.
I was just
That's
wondering.
chess play.
I was wondering if you. Yeah, I can't believe that Mac talked about that because that was the exact thing I was going to ask you. So, like, what did he say? He just said, "Don't do it."
That's the bye week tendency breaker. He's like, the bye week came at the perfect time.
What is a banana again?
Well, it's just I just call it the banana, but it's just like, the fake block, and then the receiver runs the banana, and it's just like a half step up the sideline, kind of like a wheel, but you're not really running a wheel.
Okay,
it's just a fade, fake block into a fade. I don't know really what they call that, but
yeah, but you're saying like a step inside, then like a wheel route into a 9, right?
Yeah. That's what it's just like as if you're blocking on that screen. And they pump the screen. As soon as they pump, you're off and up the sideline, and you're 12 yards, and that ball's put at like 16, and you run under it, and you're scooting.
But why? I just don't know why you would do that, and why you wouldn't do the stuff where like you wouldn't just go to where they're, because doesn't it feel like what they want to do is just come pick it off with the nickel?
Correct. That's like, why you do that.
No, but to Wingo's side, I say throw it. Act like you're throwing a pump fake to Wingo, and then just look up field to the curl flat.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's the side of I'm talking about pumping it to Wingo right to the right, and then you're moving your you're moving your angle, to your left 6 yards, and you're just.
So you think Wingo and Livingston will be on the same? Maybe they'll be on the same side because they're over there blocking in that bunch set.
Or Wingo and Moore, whatever you want to do. Like that's what I'm saying though. Is that blocker where Wingo comes back, and then that blocker just boom dips out of the route.
Yeah. I forgot that they're in that bunch set whenever they run that because they need the open field blockers, right?
But I think that's the whole theory though. That those cornerbacks are going to be just foaming at the mouth. Linebackers are going to bait. Safety's going to come up. Everyone's going to jump it. That's the theory.
I would, but like, why go outside and up the sidelines with it? Why not take it inside on just like some kind of little quick little post and some quick little slant?
You can do that too. You can,
up the seam,
a little sluggo. Like you can do that. I think the theory would be just that you're running into where everyone's at instead of potentially running to grass.
Yeah, but it would like I could see it making so much sense if you just start out like you're stock blocking, slip out of it, just slant steam.
Yeah, I think both work. I'll be interested to see what the opening script looks like.
Again, that's mid IQ. If I'm dialing that up, like Kirby's he's gonna know. I think maybe you just kind of I don't know,
run the same play.
Yeah, just run it again. Just throw it to Wingo. We have Sandman in the chat saying, thanks to Disney YouTube for continuing to screw this thing up. Look, man, here's the thing, Sandman. You need to take your life into your own hands and just do what I did and just cancel it. Just cancel it.
I canceled it 2 weeks
ago. There's no reason why you shouldn't cancel it and just get Fubo TV. That's what I got. It's cheaper. It's better. You can watch back the Skycam version of games after you're done.
How much is Fubo? You can watch Skycam?
Yeah. You can watch Skycam back. You can watch it back. I'm not sure if you can watch it live. But when I've been doing the games, I get to watch back the Skycam. I don't even have to wait to see if our all 22 plug can get me all 22 because I think Skycam is almost better than all 22, to be honest. It's got very, very sick angles for doing the offensive line stuff. I think it's really good to have it right on top as opposed to
for sure
to the end zone view for the tight. But it's and I'm not sure if you like soccer and stuff, Sandman. I don't care about it, so it's not really a value add for me. But every soccer game in the world is on that thing. It's got and it's got everything that my wife wants to watch. It's got all, it's like, you don't have to miss shows like Who Wants to Be or not, you know, the Shark Tank. It's got every Shark Tank you could ever. It's got all the just. It's like it's got everything, but it's just got all the sports. And if you're like me and you like to watch just degenerate sports like poker or
Beanbags.
yeah, dude. If you want to watch, yeah, if you want to watch cornhole, there's like 8 different cornhole leagues. Darts. It's just crazy, man. It's cheaper. I mean, I'm glad that they did this. I found a better alternative for my TV that's cheaper.
Yes, I was gonna say, the YouTube TV thing. I didn't even realize how much it was until I canceled. And I was like, man, I'm glad I canceled this damn thing. I'm gonna look into football. I just went the ESPN route. I just got their stupid package because it's literally all I watch is football on the damn YouTube TV anyway. So I just got the ESPN package and just said screw them. Let's hit a couple. We got a super chat here from Lance Williams. Then we got a couple other interesting final take chats, and then we're at the 35-minute mark, so we can make a decision if we want to land or not. Lance Williams for $2. Appreciate you, Lance. He says Mack Rhodes stepped down.
Look, I can't pretend to know. Like I've been in enough. I've gotten into enough stuff with Baylor fans to where it's like I'm not gonna comment on it. Like the only time I've commented on something that got me on hot water with Baylor fans was a time whenever I had information that I know needed to get out, and I got it out. But I'll say this: I don't know what's happened behind the scenes with Mack Rhodes. I just know, like, why can't Baylor just kind of keep his nose clean every now and then? You don't step down for going and what's the tight end's name? Trigg. You don't step down just because you go and you maybe get a little bit overstep your bounds with telling Trigg that he shouldn't be wearing a yellow undershirt and maybe put your hands on an assistant coach. Like that's not it. What?
I said it's 2025. It might have came from above him.
There's something else, Cody. There's something else going on. And here's the other thing too. Shame on the college football committee for the college playoff committee for ever putting that guy as your commissioner or whatever. They should take this opportunity to be like, it's not because that Mack Rhodes had to step down or whatever, but just say it's like anybody that can get into a situation like this as a college AD should not be in this position, right? And here's my thing. You shouldn't be in that position anyway. What if Baylor was in the discussion here? Are we really expecting these people to be completely unbiased? Like, what if Chris Del Conte was the guy who talked with Reese Davis after the?
Well, the problem is you can never hit that straight on the head because so now Mack Rhodes is gone. Hunter Yurachek from Arkansas, the AD from there, is now he's the chair. Arkansas is not in the game right now, right? But I mean, who's to say we knew that Texas Tech was going to be in the conversation? Mark Harlan, the athletic director of Utah is in the conversation. He's now been appointed to the committee to replace Rhodes just as an overall eye.
Why a guy whose team is actively set to be on the bubble? Are you kidding me?
I think it's the wrong process. I think that's an off-season conversation for us to have. But I do think I agree with you. That's obviously the wrong process. It should be teams that are, it should be G5.
Yeah, I mean, bring in what if it's the guy from James Madison? Like
it doesn't matter because James Madison's not going to get in on a rank. They're going to get on an AQ.
Yeah, but they're ranking within the CFP rankings would matter.
They're not allowed. I don't think they're allowed to rank their own team, by the way. But there's still an internal bias.
If James Madison's always if he's not allowed to rank James Madison, but he's allowed to rank USF, then what?
That's the conversation. That's the point.
So it's like, I mean, it's so stupid. You shouldn't be able. Like, is this a crazy take?
But it's better than having the AP where it's a bunch of people that don't know what they're looking at. Right?
I'm not convinced that Mack Rhodes knows what he's looking at. Have you seen some of the shirts that he used to like? This guy's a creepy guy, man.
All right. Sandman said, Orange Bloods, what's one stadium outside of the SEC that you'd love to watch a night game at? You can't pick the Rose Bowl.
I've already been to.
We've both been to the Rose Bowl, right? You went to the Rose Bowl game.
I've been to 2 at the Rose Bowl. I went to the Michigan Rose Bowl game, and I was there to see Vince on 4th and 5 or
So
whatever.
where's one place you'd like to see a night game outside of the SEC? If it was inside, I think I'd say Jordan Hare.
Oh, outside the
Or
SEC?
Baton Rouge, maybe, but outside of the SEC. You know what my number one is?
Probably the Shoe.
I was going to say whiteout Penn State.
Shoe at night. Screw the Penn State whiteout. Shoe at night. It's like it's chalk, but if we're talking about something that's just maybe a little bit more not as obvious, you know which one looks always? Do you know which one looks always awesome? Is it Washington where you can kind of see the water and stuff there?
Yeah.
That seems like a great setting to go watch a football game.
At night though?
Nah, yeah, that's more of a 3:30 p.m. start.
They
say it would be not on the East Coast.
They say it's a pretty sick like early game because they do tailgating on the water. And they say if you show up in the wrong colors, so if you're not in purple or gold or whatever, and you're out on the boat, they will like purposefully leave you on the boat for the first quarter, and you miss the first quarter of the game.
What do you mean they'll leave you on the boat?
So if you show up, this was the big thing when like Ohio State went up there the other couple weeks ago or a month ago, right? It was like they were like telling people like don't show up in red, like make sure you cover up your red when you're on the boats because if you expose the red, they'll leave you on the boats. Like people in purple take the keys out their boats, they'll jump into a different boat and they'll just leave you out on the boats. And then they'll come back and get you like after the first quarter. That's the rumor anyway, but
all right.
Sounds fun.
You got any final takes for the weekend or NFL, anything you're looking at? You got a favorite game of the week?
This is gonna sound cockamamie. The game that this isn't even it. No, this is diabolically too deep, too non-interesting here. The game that I kind of want to keep my eye on is Kentucky.
Oh, okay. Wait.
Kentucky's got 1:30 kickoff at home against a 10-0 Tennessee Tech.
Well, why do you care?
It's an FCS team that steamrolls everybody.
Okay.
If
it'd be interesting to see all right, so okay.
If Tennessee Tech goes in there and beats Kentucky, does Mark Stoops get fired?
No. Is his buyout still 40-something million?
He loses to an FCS team in November?
God, dude, they can't afford that buyout. And they're not going to – if you're Kentucky, do you really want to go into this coaching cycle? Who are you going to get? Who are you going to get? I mean, it's just think about it. It's like if even some of these, there are going to be some of these coordinators out there that are like good young coordinators that you might want to try to poach, and like they might get talked into being like, dude, you'd be better off taking Hartline's old job and getting a couple years of seasoning at a place like Ohio State as a coordinator before you take a head job at a place like Kentucky. I'm not saying that I would go for that. But that's what some agents are going to tell certain guys that are like young hot shots at the coordinator level.
You think Hartline get a job?
What?
You think Hartline get a job this year?
Isn't he the odds-on favorite to get the Penn State job?
Is he really?
I thought he was last time I checked. I'm not sure he still is. Be a good fit.
He's 38 years old.
How old was Franklin when they hired him? He was the young hot name at Vanderbilt whenever they hired him. That was a long time ago because that was the same cycle as Charlie Strong.
42.
Dude, trust me. I've been both those ages. There's not that much difference. Well, I guess yeah. No, there's really not. There's just not.
Do you have any final takes for the weekend, or do you want to predict these SEC ranked games?
I think it's going to be chalk as far as what happens with the SEC outside of Texas.
You think Bama's going to take care of Oklahoma?
Yeah, and I just and I think Alabama's going to. I think that and I know it's not SEC, but I think Notre Dame's just going to work Pitt after I heard Narduzzi say he doesn't care if they win or lose.
That's gonna be
it's just like what
chaos scenario. Oklahoma wins and Texas wins. Does that lock Texas into the playoff no matter what happens against A&M?
Oklahoma wins and Texas wins.
Oklahoma beats Alabama. Texas beats Georgia. So Texas would probably vault to 4. Texas probably vaults to 4.
No, that wouldn't lock Texas in, because then Oklahoma could win out and Texas could lose to A&M, and I think that they would put Oklahoma in over Texas. They would put a 2-loss Oklahoma in over a 3-loss Texas, I would think. Even though Texas had beat Oklahoma, who'd beaten Alabama, still they would just look at the wins and losses.
Yeah, but Oklahoma wouldn't go to the conference championship. Texas would.
If they lost to A&M, they would still go to the conference championship?
No, A&M would go to the conference championship. I don't think either Texas or Oklahoma would. Yeah, you're right. It would be Ole Miss.
Yeah, there's no way.
So then so then you'd have A&M, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Bama, Georgia, Texas, all deserving.
Go to Prize Picks. Use promo code Orange Bloods. Make sure and take Jaylen Warren over on his rushing yards. Do you have one to pair it with, Cody?
I mean, I got like 13 of them, as you know, this week. But my favorite was Drake London. It's now Rashee Rice. First quarter, 13.5 receiving yards. Xavier Worthy, questionable to play this weekend. Rashee Rice, best receiver on the team. Pound it.
All right. Texas Beef Traders, next Friday. Make sure to come out. Make plans to come out. 6 p.m. We're going to drink some beers, eat some meats, have some fun. Love you guys. God bless you. All right? Don't do anything we wouldn't do. Except what you should do is go buy the Alpha Seasoning, alphaseasoning.com. For Cody, I'm Alex. We're done.